Hi, I'm Cailey, a librarian here at Mentor Public Library.
And I'm Meg, another librarian, and welcome to this week's edition of All Booked Up with Cailey and Meg, our first 2021 edition. So happy New Year. So in keeping with the new year, we're going to be looking at our resolution reads. So maybe you haven't come up with a resolution yet, or maybe you do have one. We can give you some inspiration and from some newer books that we have here at the library.
Yes, and all of the books that we're going to talk about today are available from the library physically as well as online through Libby by Overdrive and through Hoopla, free with your library card. All right, Meg, what is your first resolution read?
So my first resolution read is called Beating the Lunchbox Blues by J.M. Hirsch. So I pack my lunch, try to almost every day, but whether it's because I'm running, short on time, or maybe I'm just a little too stuck on my 8-year-old eating habits, I sometimes can pick some bad choices for my lunch and they can be kind of uninspired, sometimes unhealthy. So I think maybe a good resolution is, having some new inspiration for some healthy food that's also fun. So it has really cute pictures in it. So it's set up like each picture it's like in a little lunchbox, but it's classics, but with a healthy twist. So some of my favorites are the crispy pasta salad, which has like little bacon bits, but otherwise is pretty healthy. There's a peanut butter and fruit burrito. So it's got that burrito word, which I think is always so yummy, but it still has some healthy stuff in it. And then also there's just some really good choices too, like an Elvis salad that has bananas in it. So that's really fun. And then they give you recipes for things such as jams, which you can use over a long period of time. So things that you can just grab and go to quickly make your lunch. So it doesn't have to be this long drawn out process to, make your lunch just because you make it nice and healthy. So this book definitely puts my Lunchables to shame. I think I will try to be using this in the future.
I might have to check that one out too. I too pack my lunch pretty much every day. And so you do kind of get into a slump sometimes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So my first resolution read is called Joy at Work, Organizing Your Professional Life by Marie Kondo and Scott Sonnenshein.
I've heard of her. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, of course you've heard of Marie Kondo. And I am a fan of hers. I wish they'd make some more Netflix episodes of her show. But so this is her latest addition into her organizational books. And I know that many people are working from home right now, but there's still something to sort of gain from this. Marie Kondo is really big on having things around you that bring you joy. And this is true in your workspace as well, because if your workspace is cluttered or messy, it can bring you down and distract you. And you can be more productive if you're in a more organized, like cleanish workspace. And so the two authors of this book give some really practical tips to help you like tame your workspace physically and virtually. They discuss virtual clutter as well as the like papers and things that clutter your desk. Right. And some of this like virtual clutter stuff are things that I think we can all sort of relate to when you have a million unread emails or just a giant inbox that is not sorted in any way. And in this increasingly virtual world, a lot of people don't have their stuff on their computers organized well enough to find them quickly and efficiently. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's like advice about the physical clutter, the papers that wind up on your desk and all of that. But it has tips for you to determine not just if something sparks joy, because, your stapler's not going to spark joy.
Unless it's red.
Unless it's a colorful one, I suppose. But, it has a useful purpose in your workspace. And one of the things that I really like about Marie Kondo's like tidy philosophy, I'm far from tidy, but I like the fact that she talks about, the things you want around you. It's not so much about eliminating all the stuff around you, but it's more about being more thoughtful about the things around you and that they're useful to you and they in some way, spark joy, as her thing says. So if you are looking to be more organized this new year, this might be a good one for you to check out.
Oh, I love that. That sounds like a great one. And I love the whole organization thing. I know and I also like that you mentioned the virtual aspects. Like, even if you're like, if you have an Excel spreadsheet that's like totally needs organized or something like that. So that bringing that to mind is helpful, I think, too. And totally agree with bringing joy. That's why I have my, my little Eeyore thing in my desk, and you have your SpongeBob. I love it. So great book. Okay. So my next one is called Sleep, Harness the Power of Sleep for Optimal Health and Wellbeing by Petra. So this book came out this year and might be helpful for our night owls viewers who want to improve the quality of their sleep for the new year. The author, Petra, works at the London Sleep Center, and she provides tips as well as some of the science behind why certain things hinder or promote good sleep. So I like the backing behind what she says for each chapter. So she'll first talk about why sleep is important, and then what is making your sleep worse, and then finally how to make your sleep better. And I also like she also includes a chapter on sleep disorders and how to cope with those, how to cope with things like when you're pregnant, how to sleep, jet lag, so different circumstances that may make your sleep worse. There's also beautiful watercolor illustrations throughout, which are very soothing, which I think is appropriate. And then just some of the tips I found were some things I maybe had an idea, but didn't really think out, like taking a bath in the wind down period, like the 2 hours before you sleep, is actually really helpful because it makes your body, I believe it like cools your body down, which helps produce melatonin. That's the most science I know of it, but it's something like that helps you sleep. But it makes sense, like just relax, take a bath before you go to bed, stay off social media if you can, or that, what's called that blue light with the electronic devices. So it might be as simple as just switching to night shift on your phone or something like that just those little things that could help. Lavender oil was another thing I read about. I guess that can help you feel calm and a sleep state. And also a bedtime story. We're adults. Why can't we have bedtime stories? Maybe listen to, an audiobook or, reading, those things can be helpful. So I liked it. And I like the optimistic take it took on it, because sometimes you can get down on yourself. Like, I'm not sleeping enough. It's like, I'm not going to be doing good the next day at work or whatever. But no, there are actual steps you can take that can make sleep a better experience for you. So I liked it.
That sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I think that sleep is one of those health things that we don't think about as often as some of the other things, but it really does affect like every aspect of your life. Yeah. And it is one of those things that should be on our resolutions to make sure we get a good night's sleep. So my next book is all about money. This book is called Money Hacks by Rowan. And so many people this time of year make some sort of money management resolution. And I will say, though, that I have read some financial books in my day, and they tend to be pretty dry reads, which is why I kind of like the style of this book. In it, the author gives money advice in these little small bites. Each hack of the money hacks is its own chapter, and there's over 275 in this book. A lot of the advice is not going to be new, but when you're trying to change your habits, it bears repeating some things over and over again. And of course, there are some pieces of advice that will be new and maybe, put a twist on something that you've always heard. One tip that I really liked about reducing your sort of frivolous spending was that it's bad to quit cold turkey. So, if you love getting your takeout coffee in the morning, if you completely cut that out to try to save money, you're going to feel like deprived and you're not going to be able to stick to that habit. But if you dial it back and maybe get it 3 times a week for a month or so, and then you dial it back to 2, and then maybe you just make Monday your coffee day, you'll be able to sort of reward yourself and also save money at the same time. Now, with 270 plus chapters, this probably sounds like it's a huge book, but I promise it's not. It's a lot of the chapters are really short, like less than a page at times. Sometimes it's just, sharing this habit, making sure that you're looking at this. And it's a really easy book to sort of like pick up and flip through, especially if you want to just kind of look at what the chapters are and see if something just jumps out for you. Because, you know, some of the stuff like with investing or things might not apply to everybody. But like I said, some of these like little tricks might be appropriate, even if you're not looking to save for something huge, just trying to be more conscientious about your spending. And, you know, I like that this book too is just, it's very realistic to me. Sometimes, you know, you pick up these finance books and it's all about stocks and bonds and investing in things that go right over my head.
Right.
But this book seems very practical and it's relatively lighthearted. And it is available on Libby because that's how I started reading it.
Cool. That's awesome. Especially this time of year, you know, because after Christmas and the holidays, sometimes you can feel bad about your state of like your spending and your habits. So that seems great. And then what I like about that book, and I think some of the other ones we've talked about, is like you said, you can just pick up at any point in the book to what you need at that moment. I like that aspect of these books. So it sounds a great one, Cailey. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's edition of All Booked Up with Cailey and Meg, resolution reads for 2021. We hope you found some inspiration and will join us. We're going to be switching to every other week, so join us in 2 weeks from now.
Yes, and hopefully if one of your resolutions is to read more, you'll get some great suggestions from us.
Yes.
All right, thank you and happy reading.